Hey, everybody. All right, as you can see, we got our great white envelopes. One of my favorite days of the month. Be right back. Welcome back to the channel. And yes, this is one of my favorite days of the month. That's right. We have our survival skill of the month and our wild edible of the month. Now, again, if you don't know anything about these are $6.99 each, so like $14. In the long run, that might be a little bit pricey when you think about what you're getting, but I think on the short term, it's an inexpensive way to build your library, and it's kind of fun. So that's one of the main reasons why I do like it. But yes, this is in my opinion, it's a fantastic way to build your knowledge base, and I've always been a huge proponent of building your knowledge. I think that is probably I think that is one of the most important aspects to effective survival, is you have to have the knowledge base. But, because you can have the best knife, you can have the best saw, but if you don't know what you're doing, those are just paperweights. Along with many tools, if you don't know how to effectively use your tool, then you're not really using it. So knowledge is critical. Knowledge is key, and I think this is a fun way to gather some knowledge in both survival skills as well as wild edibles. And as I have said before, with some of the stuff you get in these, we'll do our wild edible of the month first. Now, this particular wild edible might not pertain to my current environment, but that's okay, because if we do end up having to go into a survival situation, we may have to move. We may have to vacate. I live in the desert. There's not much. My natural resource here, if you watch my earlier video, is the sun. We got a lot of sun here, so if you can make use of solar power, you have an advantage here. But in the long run, but in the big scheme of things, not a lot going on here. There's not a lot of vegetation. I know most of the edible ones in the area. There are some that I'm not sure on. Some of the parks, though, here, we have fantastic parks. But if let's say that there's a really bad crash, then those sprinkler systems might not work in the parks, and those plants are going to die. Let's be honest with it. So you may have to move, and you may have to have a plan, and you should always have a plan, right? You should always have a plan, right? Whether you should have a plan to bug in, which is, I prefer that myself. I'm not one of these big bug out guys, but you need to have a plan for bugging out as well. And ideally, you should be able to put your plan into place within 30 minutes. You should be able to be on the road, getting out of danger, whether it's earthquake, fire, rioting, you name it. You should be able to vacate the area within 30 minutes. You need to have plans. And one of those plans should be taking your knowledge with you. There's too much knowledge in here to remember everything, right? There's no way you can remember everything. That's why we have books. You should always have, in everybody's survival kit, you should always have a survival handbook that you can rely on. This one is one of my favorites. A lot of great knowledge in here. I love this book. I don't think I've read every page of it, because it's not really something you read, front to back. You just kind of read it. But you should have knowledge at your fingertips. Here's another one that I picked up: Home Remedies, right? An A to Z guide of quick and easy natural cures. If we're in a really bad survival situation, there might not be doctors. We might run out of medications. And this has a lot of great knowledge in this book here. Again, I've read some of this. It's a pretty good book. I'm thinking about leaving a review of it on Amazon. It's not too bad. There are better books out there that cover the same thing, but this one was inexpensive at the time, so I picked it up. But alright, that's it. That's enough on that. Let's get into our wild edible of the month here. We'll see what we got this month. Again, $6.99. And that's shipping and everything. Just $6.99. I think it's a good deal for what you get. Because for me, part of the subscriptions is not just to get the stuff, but it's also fun. It's to get the stuff, but it's also to get the stuff. Let's be honest. All right, so let's see what we got this month. Hopefully something new. All right. Okay. So this month it is 2 sheets again. So you might think $350 a sheet, but it's not bad. And this month we have Violet Wood Sorrel. All right, and so the good thing is, haven't seen any of this in my area, but they are present in Texas. So because you see here, that's one nice thing about these. They give you all the information here, but they have a map on every single sheet. And where it's located is marked in green, so that's fantastic. And it looks like anywhere that I would probably go has Violet Wood Sorrel. So this is a good one to know. And of course, as always, you do have your plant profile on here with some great photographs. I imagine Creek takes the photos himself, or someone in his family does. You have his commentary. He tells you about it, those are always fun to read. And then some of the best part is you do have your unique identifying features, not only in picturesque form, but it tells you down here what you're looking for. So that's a fantastic way to set it. But my favorite aspect of all of this is you always have a recipe. So it tells you how to prepare it. And a lot of that is we might know something's edible, but we don't really know when we're out in the wild how to prepare it. And so this cuts a lot of it. So not only is this a great way to learn about your plants, but you're also getting a cookbook as well. So it's kind of just double duty. I might actually put these in alphabetical order someday, or maybe just put them in to what I have. Put the ones that are not in Texas in the back, and keep the ones I'm most likely to run into in the front. But okay, that's it. And of course, as always, if you do subscribe to this, your first shipment, you're going to get a nice binder like this. If your binder fills up, don't worry, Creek sells more. I don't know if I would buy another binder, but he does sell more. I don't know how much they are, but so you keep it up with it. So right now, this one is about half full. So we're about halfway. We've almost filled up our first binder of wild edibles. So that's quite an accomplishment there. All right. Now then, moving on, we do have our survival skill of the month. These ones, always some good information, and I like the way that this one is set up a lot better. And to be honest, those wild edibles could almost fit into, like, if you decide to put this into one binder, which would not be a bad idea, I'll be honest with you, because one of the key oh man, just a little bit light. A little bit of damage on that one. That's all right. So basically, with this one here we're talking about the Pine Bark Canteen. And so basically what this one does, and this one is 2 sheets as well. Sometimes these are 3 sheets because there's a lot more information put out there. But basically, he's going to tell you how to make a canteen out of pine bark. And this could be something you might have to do, we do have pine around here, so this is I could actually possibly make this, but it tells you materials needed. Then you have step 1, fold the bark, right? Step 2, fold the triangular shape. Step 3, complete the triangular. So bind the shape, remove cord and inspect the shape. Seal with pine pitch glue. So, and I think I have the pine pitch glue one also. So, because that's a good thing, because it says see the previous skill. And then find the final touches and practicality and durability. So, got that. Now, the reason that I say that this could possibly work together is because, and again, when you sign up for it, you get this nice little binder that comes along with it. Now, one thing that this has that the wild edible skill doesn't have is you got your introduction here, and you have the table of contents, right? Now, you could actually, now while these ones here, they have their own thing, right? Shelter, water, this one falls under containers. So you got shelter, water, fire, tools, containers, foraging, hunting, trapping, fishing, first aid and hygiene, binding and forage, campcraft, cooking, garb, and miscellaneous. And so basically all I'm doing right now, I put these in the correct section. Not necessarily in any type of order yet, but eventually that may come at some point too. I do want to get some of the dividers so I can actually divide these up so it makes it a little bit faster for me to get to them. But right now I just scan through until I see it on the bottom. It's after tools. I might not have any container. Yep, there we go. Yep, so there's tools. Tools, deer scapula, beaver tooth chisel. Oh, here we go. How to coal burn a container. Well, now we have a pine bark container. So hopefully you never have to make your own containers, but it's good to have this knowledge just in case you do. And it'd be fun to do it. But the nice thing about this is I don't think I have any from foraging. No, foraging is after containers, and I don't have any foraging because I go straight to hunting. So yeah, but you got foraging, hunting, and trapping, fishing. So shelter, obvious. You got to build shelter. And I kind of like the way he has this set up because, for the most part, this right here, in all honesty, is set up in order of importance. Shelter. Shelter is always the first thing you need to worry about in a survival situation, because if you get hypothermia, if it's too sun, you roast your body. So finding shelter is essential. So that's actually the most important thing. Then water, right? Okay, locate a water source. Then fire for protection, for cooking, for boiling the water, for heat, right? Then you get your tools, how to make your tools if you don't have any. Then you have containers, right? And you need containers to forage, you need containers to gather water, and then you have your food acquisition, which is 4: foraging, hunting, trapping, and fishing, first aid and hygiene, binding and cordage. So I think that the way that this legend is set up makes sense, because it goes from most important to finally the last one is just miscellaneous, but you got cooking and campcraft and stuff, so it kind of goes down. But at the bottom of each of the wild edible, you have the same type of picture that you have on these, so you could throw those at the end and just keep them like that. But I do want to get the dividers in there so that each section has its own section. It's easy to turn to when you need it. Now, part of the reason that when I say that you need to have a plan, right? These are sitting on my desk, right? Ideally, what you do is, and my desk right now is a total mess because we've been going through a lot, but and I have to get in here and I really have to get this organized. That's on me. But you should have a plan, and part of that plan you should be able to say, okay, what you're going to take, where it is, how you're going to take it. So I should have a box where I can put all of my important books. I've got home preserving, I've got fishing, I've got horticulture, I've got several survival books, I've got back to basics, I've got the home remedies, I've got how to build how to build different cooking fireplaces and stuff. Of course, my wild edible, my survival skill. I've got my Dave Canterbury bushcraft set. I've got my FM 21-76, my Army survival guide, my Constitution, my Bible. That's also important. But ideally, if I'm leaving, this is gonna go with me. And so you need to have a plan. And I'm also working on completing the outdoor, the Library of Congress, the outdoor library one. It's got your Horace Kephart, a lot of great stuff in that. So we should have a plan, get all that, because just like having a good tool is important. Yes, you can do a lot more with a better tool, right? You know, this right here, this is not a good knife, but if I have this, it's at least a knife. So I have a cutting tool, right? So it's a tool, even if it's this absolute trash one here that we got, right? This came in our SHTF box. It's a trash knife, but it's a knife nonetheless. But knowledge also, you have to have the knowledge to use the knife. You have to have the knowledge to upkeep your knife. So you got to have a plan to get that knowledge out there with you. Now, if this is just like a short time thing, then yeah, maybe not. But at the very least, you should have, you know, you should have a survival handbook in your bag, right? Like say you have to grab your bug out bag and leave real fast. You should have some type of knowledge with you anyway. So, and that's my whole thing, you know. But yeah, that's it. That's it for your wild edible and your survival skill of the month. And hey, until next time, Crazy Tech Survival and Prepping. Keep prepping.